Welcome to Elisha Space. Usually, we talk about what is happening inside your body, the anxiety, the panic, the freeze response. But today, I want to zoom out. I want to talk about why those responses are there in the first place. We often assume that our spiritual anxiety is a personal failure, that if we just had more faith, we wouldn't feel this fear. But what if I told you that for centuries, fear wasn't an accident, it was a method? So today, we are unearthing the roots of spiritual trauma. We're going to look at the history of how theology has been used to wire the nervous system for terror, and how we can untangle that history to find the true heart of God. In a video I was watching recently about the Nativity, historians explain that our mental image of Jesus in a wooden stable is actually wrong historically. It was likely a cave. That one historical detail changes how we see the story. I want to offer you a similar historical correction today regarding your trauma. Many of us grew up believing that the trembling we felt in church, that deep, shaking fear of hell or punishment, was the Holy Spirit convicted us of sin. But when we look at history, specifically the hellfire and brimstone area of the 17th to 19th centuries, we see something different. Theologians like Jonathan Edwards didn't just preach the gospel, they used graphic sensory language designed to bypass logic and hit the amygdala, the fear center of the brain. When you were taught that you were a sinner in the hands of an angry God, hanging by a spider's thread over a fire, that wasn't just theology, that was psychological conditioning. This leads us to a concept known in history as total depravity. Now, theology, this was meant to highlight our need for grace, but psychologically, for a developing child, it translated into a core belief. I am fundamentally unsafe with myself. If you were raised in a tradition that emphasized your wretchedness above your belovedness, your nervous system learned a dangerous lesson, that you are the threat. This is why so many of you tell me, Elisha, I can't trust my gut. Of course you can't. You were given a theological map that said your gut was deceitful above all things. This isn't just you being crazy. This is a multi-generational echo of specific teaching style that taught us to disassociate from our own bodies to stay holy. So why does this matter to us today, sitting in 2026? Why does this matter when you're trying to recover from church hurt? Because it helps you realize that your body's reaction is not a spiritual attack, it is a historical inheritance. When you walk into a church building and your chest tightens, that isn't the devil trying to keep you from worship. That is your body remembering the history of fear that was passed down through generations. Your body is doing exactly what it was trained to do: scan for the threat of punishment. The beautiful thing about history is that once we understand it, we don't have to repeat it. We can acknowledge that, yes, that style of preaching happened. Yes, those fear tactics were used, but that is not the whole story of God. We can move from a theology of terror, which dysregulates the nervous system, to a theology of attachment. Imagine a God who isn't dangling you over a fire, but a God who, like the father of the prodigal son, runs to meet you while you are still far off. That image doesn't activate the fight or flight response. It activates the ventral vagal system, the social engagement system. It creates safety. I want to end with a moment of stillness, just like we always do. If you feel that old historical fear rising up, that center in the hands of an angry God feeling, I want you to place a hand on your heart. Remind yourself that was history I was taught, that I am safe now. I am not a wretch. I am a wounded child who is being healed. Thank you for joining me for this deep dive. If this history resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Did you grow up with hellfire teaching? How does your body react to it now? Take care of your spirit and your body. I'll see you next time.